But it is an important day because we are seeing the return to service of one of the most important locomotives that are on this museum. And I think it's also worthwhile, some of you will know the history, but it's worthwhile giving a little bit of its background. It was actually built in 1918 as a 3-foot gauge locomotive, one of many that were built for the War Department in the First World War, and this one was known to have gone on to forestry train work. But it only had a short term in that because the war finished, and the makers, that's Bagnall's, bought it back and they converted it to the 2-foot gauge, which was a more popular gauge for these lighter industrial locos. It was sold to the Cliff Hill Granite Company, who are at Markfield in Leicestershire, and it was to work there until just after the Second World War. It's because of its time at Markfield that it acquired its name. Peter Preston was the company manager, and it was named after the manager. He must have pulled some strings. The engine and the railway fell into disuse, as I say, after the Second World War, and it really was a rescue by the Narrow Gauge Railway Society that ensured its existence today. They bought it and placed it on loan to the then developing museum at Brockham in Surrey, and it went there in 1965. But no work as such was done on it of any consequence there, and the Brockham project, of course, eventually merged with the Amberley Museum, and all their collection was delivered to this site. That was 1982. The museum was then only 3 years old. The engine wasn't on priority to get going because it was in such a bad state, but a team of volunteers led by Doug Bentley, who was a great engineer, he returned it to steam by 1993, and we had a ceremony on the day that returned to steam, almost on this exact spot, when Doug brought Peter through with a huge beam on his face as it breasted the tape and went back into service. Soon after that, the Amberley Museum itself bought the locomotive from the Narrow Gauge Railway Society to ensure its existence here. And also, of course, we took on the responsibility for keeping it in good shape. It's had major overhauls since, 2 10-year periods of service, and it last was in service here at the museum at the end of 2018 on Santa events. Since then, it's really had a overhaul in record time for doing an engine here, just about 3.5 years, even despite the COVID shutdowns and such. But a tremendous amount of work has been done. The overhaul of the boiler, for example, meant a new boiler barrel, new front tube plate, new tubes, and replacement of all the studs on the boiler. The motion was stripped out and overhauled. The original expansion and die block were fitted, and of course everything, frame and all the other fittings, were overhauled and painted. Sounds easy in those terms, but there's a hell of a lot of work involved, and that, when you're working primarily on a 1 day a week, makes it quite a lengthy process. But as I say, it's really been done in record time. So great congratulations to everyone, the volunteers at Amberley, and as John said, all the contractors who have helped get this project together. And of course, a huge input from those who've contributed to make it happen, both with their hands and with the finance. We hope you will all get the pleasure of seeing a good many more years out of Peter on the line here. And as John mentioned, Mark Sanford's the guy who's really coordinated the whole project, and great thanks to him as well. He's done the hours working in the muck and dirt in the machine shop underneath it and getting it for you to see today. And now we hope after its running in period this morning, practicing, that it's nearing coming up from Amberley station.